everyone. Hello. I am super excited to be here. We're here with Shante Nicole.
Hello,
So
guys.
go ahead and put in the comments. Go ahead and give Shante Nicole a good big She Moves welcome. Okay. Okay. So people are saying they can see us. That's great.
Great.
Yeah. Let us know. Make sure that the sound quality is good. Stop us. Comment. Okay. So I'm just gonna start off by doing just a brief bio. Okay, Shante, just so we can get a little idea of what's going to happen. And then we'll go into this awesome conversation that we're getting ready to have. So, Shante Nicole's passion for serving others has always been at the center of her life. She's an author, financial educator, credit consultant. She also holds a degree in nursing. She's also the founder of her own nonprofit organization, FACE, Facing Autism with Children Everywhere. And her latest endeavor, Financial Common Sense. As if that doesn't keep her busy enough, right? Right, we just said a whole bunch of things. She's also a wife. She's also a mother of a child with autism. Okay, so Shante, you started this Financial Common Sense Facebook community back in 2017.
Yes, January.
And for those of you who aren't a part of that, because I feel like a lot of us probably are already, because she has so many members. But if you aren't a member of that group, make sure you jump in. It's Financial Common Sense. Is it at Financial Common Sense, Shante?
I guess Facebook does the at now, like Instagram. So if you just type in Financial Common Sense and it's CENTS, like the play on money, then you'll find the group.
Awesome. Shante, tell us a little bit. I want to start, just tell us a little bit about your nonprofit. I think that's just awesome. First of all, you have so many different layers and facets to yourself, right?
So you mean the autism one? Because is also a nonprofit too. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good to know. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. We got our status in May of this year. Yes. So actually last year. I'm sorry. I'm so confused. But yeah. So FACE I started because I have a son with autism. He was diagnosed when he was 2, and I started joining a lot of groups on Facebook with people who, were autism parents and just getting some, feedback and things like that, celebrating milestones and things of that nature. And I started noticing a pattern where a lot of parents didn't get a break. They're like, oh, we don't trust anybody with our kids. They're nonverbal or not potty trained. And so my first initiative was to start a respite program. And respite simply means rest. So I wanted to start a program where parents can drop their kids off for like 4 hours on a Saturday and like literally go and just like have a break. And so I held a 5K race to raise money for that. And I had only been in existence for 4 months, and I had about 120 people show up for the race. I was boohooing, and I had the radio behind me, a lot of local television stations, and we were able to raise money to start our respite program. So just being able to serve the families, knowing that they needed help, because I'm a parent, so I understood how it felt. And so that rolled over into a summer camp for special needs kids. So just trying to see, when I see the need, I create the need. So.
That is awesome, Shante. I applaud that. I tip my hat to you, right?
I love these kids so much.
You wear so many hats. I tip my hat to you, but that's awesome.
Thank you.
So, everyone who's watching, I appreciate you guys coming back again. Today we're going to be talking about, I feel like I renamed it from the flyer. Like, I wanted to call it Fearless Finances, right?
Whatever works, listen.
Whatever works. I wanted to call it Fearless Finances. For those of you who haven't been in Shante's group, what you'll notice is that, I don't know, I always get attracted to the success stories, right? Like there's always people that are writing in comments or asking questions. Mm-hmm. And then there's those people who are writing success stories, like before and after for their finances. And today what I kind of wanted to talk about is the fear factor, right? Like from the before part of it, like when you have debt or your credit is in shambles, mm-hmm. and you think maybe that there's not much you can do, or you think maybe you're too far gone. And I know that you'd be the perfect person to tell us that that's not the case, right? Like
the thing is, people are so overwhelmed and people don't know where to start, because we didn't know where to start when we started building our finances and credit. We went to college, got credit cards, and just were like thrown into the game. So no one gave us a game plan on how to manage. So then once things started happening, you don't know what to do or where to turn. And then things started taking the dive, and then you're like, I'm too far gone. There's no way I can come out of this. And so you literally just sweep it under the rug, and you just always say, I have bad credit. I'm going to have bad credit. So you accept those high APRs. You accept getting denied over and over. You accept those credit cards with $1 million worth of fees, and so you just think this is my life. And I wanted people to see I've been there and I came out of it, and you can too. You just need a game plan. You just need to also see that you're not alone in this.
Right. I think probably what's so awesome about your group is that you have the education level there, and it almost seems as though like maybe like when you're beforehand, like you don't know, right? So you don't know like what you're supposed to do. So it almost seems like the more educated you are on it, the more you maybe tune in and like learn the process and learn the systems, the easier it becomes. Like, do you feel like that's like true with your clients? Or
I think it's true, because when people are educated, it's not just for your situation right now. It's for the situation in the future. You may overcome everything and life kicks you in the butt, and then you're back at square one. What do you do then? Do you go, oh well, I don't know what to do? No, you're like, I learned 3 years ago how to get myself out of this. I can do it again. I've been on a roller coaster with my credit because of my past, and a little bit of my story. So it's like, I want people to see that when you're educated, you don't learn algebra or you don't learn arithmetic just for first grade. Because you got to know it to move on to the next level with math and the next level. So it's about the future, not just learning it for right now enough to pass. It's like you need this, whether you're an accountant, whether you work in banking, whether you never work in banking. Money isn't going anywhere. We have to use money. How do you learn to count? We learned to count when we were in kindergarten and first grade, or even before that. So it's things that you need to progress in life. And that's what credit isn't going anywhere. So I want people educated.
That's a good point, because I feel like, there might be some people that are like, well, my credit is, there's some of us on the line that are like, okay, my credit is shot, right? Like, I need help. I need to hear everything that y'all have to say about this. There's some people on the line that might be like, well, my credit's good, right? Like, why do I need this? Like, why do I need to know this? And I think I feel like there's a few different reasons. One, because of the spike in fraud, right? Like, there's so many people that are going in and making use of other people's good credit, right? So there's one, and then you get that, and then you don't even have a step or know what to do to even address it in the first place. But two, just like you said, things happen at different stages of your life, and anything can happen at any time. And it's important to kind of stay on top of these things and know what it is you're supposed to do in case that happens.
Also, there's a thing called accidental good credit. And I know that sounds crazy, but you can have good credit and not even really know why or how you got it. So you're still not educated.
I'm so jealous of those people, Shante. Because I think that's true. I think that a lot of people, like some people just have good credit because they just,
like they know to pay their bills on time. They know to whatever. Right. But then those are the ones who still don't know how a score is comprised. They still don't understand credit. They don't know credit law. And maybe they'll never have a situation where they'll need to understand those things. But I still think it's wise to understand it. Like,
and for yourself, for your children.
Right. Yes.
For anyone.
Yes.
Let me just take a minute, because it seems like I'm getting like a bunch of alerts, Shante. I think they're all coming from your group.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good news. That's good news. Let me just let them in. And for those of you who are watching, I think this is an awesome segment to share. You just never know who needs the information. You never know who needs the information. So let me just go ahead and Shante, you mentioned, I do know, like I've heard a little bit about your story, but can you just let some of the audience know, like, what was like that personal bounce back like for you?
So I taught myself about finance and credit when I was maybe about 21, 22 years old. So that's when I started to, I guess about 21, became obsessed with learning about it. I don't know why. I guess it was setting me up for this moment, because I just really started like tuning in, listening to people on the radio, telling my friends, like, did you know this on your credit report? And they're like, okay, whatever. Like, they were like, you're such a geek, but for some reason I became obsessed with it. So I'm a cancer survivor. I'm in my 16th year in remission. So I know what it's like to only be able to work part-time and have tons of medical bills and collections because I couldn't pay them. I know what it's like. I was unemployed for a year and I thought I would just find a job just like that and did not. So I maxed out all my credit cards. I know what that's like. Divorced, and my ex was like, I'm not paying anything. I was like, well, I guess I'm stuck with that, but I've always, whenever I found myself in a rut with my credit, I always was able to bounce back because I had taught myself about it. So I was able to bounce back quick. I never said, oh, my score is 520. It stayed 520 for like 3 months. And I was like, nope, let's get it going. Let's figure out what to do to get it back. And I always bounce back. But life happens. Didn't know I was going to lose my job. Didn't know I was going to get divorced. Didn't know I was going to get cancer. So this was my life, up and down.
Has that ever happened to any of you? Any of you who are watching, can you just comment? I just want to know if there's any of you in the group, has anyone kind of had a financial setback and came back from it? Have all of you that are watching, have all of you just started off rich and been rich in finance?
That's my story.
Have been flourishing, because you know what it is, and I think that finances is such a sensitive topic. It's, first of all, it's sensitive. I feel like it's personal. I think a lot of us kind of wear a facade, like, you know, that our finances in order, where really they're not. And we all know that She Moves is about like digging underneath that layer and actually getting to the root of the problem. So what I want to know is that there is somebody in the group who has kind of experienced a setback and came back from it, or if you have a setback and you're going through it right now and you're in the process of building up your finances, can you maybe like put like a heart or like a hand raise in the comments, just so that the other ones who are watching know that they're not the only one in the situation, right? And that there is some sort of comeback from this, because I wanted to address the fear in finances, is because I experienced that myself, right? Like, I think that there's fear on so many different levels. One of them is maybe, you know, if you're in a situation where you're living paycheck to paycheck, and some people are scared to open their bills because they know they're not going to have the money to pay it, right? So it's like, why should I open that? Some people get scared to create a budget because first of all, I feel like there's two different ways. One might be like, what do I have to cut back on? What do I have to cut back on, right? And then some would be like, okay, well, I don't have enough, because I feel like I was in denial for a while. I was just like, well, I just don't make enough.
Well, it's the reality of like, this is the reality. Like, this is what you make. These are your expenses. It's in your face now. Like, right. You can't say, or you think you're living check to check until you do a budget, and then you have $500 left over every month, and you're like,
where's that money going?
I can tell you, Wendy's, Starbucks, Panera, Chipotle, happy hour with your friends. So even for me, I used to say, like, I'm not paying any more than the minimums on my credit cards because I'm living check to check, until I did a budget and saw that I had $700 left every month, and I'm like, who's stealing my money? Because I don't see 700. Like, I'm seriously like, but when you write it down, those numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
This is your bill. This is your cell phone. This is your car. Here's the reality. Where's that money going? You have to put it in your face, just like the fear of credit. You can't face your credit if you're scared to check your report. If you're scared to open your bills, you know, you can't manage your debt until you face the debt. Like, that's just the bottom line. And it's scary, but that's why I created the group, because I wanted them to see that this is a judgment-free zone. We're all family in there. Like, people start sharing stuff that I'm like, this is like a therapy session now, you know what I mean? But I just want people to see that, like, you're not in this. And when people congratulate each other for success stories, we're legit happy for that person, because it's like, oh, you did it, and I know what your story was when you joined, because I've been reading your posts. I can do it too. That's what I want people to see. Face those fears.
Face them. And the fact of the matter is that nobody, I know for a fact that even if there are people in the group and they're saying, okay, yeah, like, I have these issues or whatever, and you're right, I'm scared to open it. The fact of the matter is that it's going to get worse. Like, it's not going to get better. They don't go away. And what everyone knows here at She Moves is that we are trying to, like, combat those things.
Yes.
So I was a little iffy, like, even knowing, like, because I calendared out for this to be, you know, the Wealthy Mindset Month. And I knew that, you know, finances are not a popular topic.
It's not at all.
Right? People don't really want to talk about it. You know, we could talk about, you know, other things like hooray, like women's empowerment all day. But when it comes to finances, I knew that it would be like one of those, like,
it's like,
you know, like back up a little bit kind of topics. And what I'm challenging all of you to do is whatever the fear is, and mind you, there's people in here with different financial situations. So some people might be like, you know what, I have, you know, a good income right now, but have you looked at your retirement? Right? Like, have you
savings? Like, where do you have a savings established? That's important, because what happens when you don't and you run into a situation? No one should ever say, I use my credit cards for emergencies. No, you should have a savings for emergencies.
How much is your savings supposed to be? Like, how much should you have saved up?
Well, I always tell people, if you have debt, like, there's always this battle between, like, well, if I have debt, I shouldn't have money sitting in the savings because, like, I should pay that money towards debt. But then what happens if you have no savings and you have an emergency? You run back up the debt. So I say you should always start with $1,000. Like, just have that sitting there. Have that cushion, then start to throw everything else towards your debt. Once your debt is paid off, then start building at least 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. Like, totaled up everything you pay monthly and have 3 to 6 months worth of that in an account. Now, some people, they're addicted to saving, which means you're just like addicted to just money, because like they're just continuously saving. I'm like, okay, so you're just saving and saving. Like, what is your goal? Like, you have a house, you have a car, you just money. It's like, okay, what are you doing with it? So at that point, you need to start investing, not just sitting in a savings account.
Right. You're
start with $1,000. Like, if you can do that cushion, you know, just have that. Because again, if you run into an emergency on your car, you need brakes. You don't want to use a credit card for that, because now that's $400. You can't pay in full. Now that's interest. By the time you pay it off, you've paid $700 for brakes instead of $400. So it's really about, like, you know, it's like you say, like, it's not, if your credit is great, okay, look at other, you know, credit is not the only thing when it comes to finances.
No.
You have savings, you have investing, you have retirement, you know, you have your Roth IRAs, all those things you need to start venturing, you know, towards if your credit is great, you know. But like I said, you can have accidental good credit. So if your credit is great and you really still don't understand credit, you just know that you lucked out, just take some time to educate yourself on credit law. What does the law say? What rights do you have as a consumer? Fraud. You know, some people don't even know where to check their credit reports. They know they got good credit, but they don't even know the first thing about checking or even reading the report, you know?
Yeah. What does this stuff mean? Right. So I'm saying when I mean, I'm sure you get like a bunch of different kinds of women that come to you, or people in general, men and women. Mm-hmm. But what do you find is, like, when you tell them like what to do or this, that, like, what do you find is like kind of like the hardest part to get the person to commit to? Like, is there like anything that's more popular than others? Like, do you find that a lot of people just never check their credit?
That's the thing. When I do workshops, my first question when I travel and stuff and do workshops, I say, when's the last time you checked your report? That's my first question.
Right.
People are like, oh, like last year, you know, they give it to you once a year. And I'm like, so you only check it one time a year? Like, I hear that people just don't face it. Like, literally, I'm glad you call this the fear.
I'm just curious to know, from those of you who are watching, how many of you haven't checked your credit in the last 6 months? Like, I just want to know, if you haven't checked your credit in the last 6 months, is that a good, like, time frame? Should I say 3 months? Because how often should we be checking our credit?
Every month.
Yes. Okay, so how many of you have not checked your credit in the last 30 days? And when we talk, we're on a bit of like we go first, so there's a bit of a delay. But if you haven't, how many of you have checked your credit? If you have, write that you have. If you haven't, I'm just curious to know if you checked your credit in the last 30 days. And while you guys do that, I'm just gonna pull up this comment. 1 second. Someone wrote in the group, nobody wants to financially struggle. Yeah, nobody wants that.
They don't, but people do.
Yeah, you know what it is? I feel like that's true. Nobody wants it, but it's in getting the courage to do it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get to this. Hold on. Because I can see like the comments, but I can't see like who it is. So let me just pull it up here really quickly.
And while you're doing that, I will just say, like, the number one thing I see when new people join my group, they put a post on like, I'm trying to fix my credit. Where do I start? And my first thing is, have you pulled your credit reports? Like you can't, that's literally the first step. Like, pull your reports and scores. And then Credit Karma is like one of the most popular credit monitoring sites, but Credit Karma scores are not what you should pay attention to. And I know they're free, and I know the commercials are like, Credit Karma, it's free, but it's not what lenders check. FICO, and I can get a lot deeper into that later on. I won't do it today, but Credit Karma, and I just say that because I see it all the time. Credit Karma scores are not FICO scores. That is not what lenders check when you're applying for stuff. So if you check it and you think you're doing great and you check FICO, you might be in for a rude awakening. Or you might check Credit Karma and you're sad, and then you check FICO and go, oh, I'm not as bad as I thought. So just, if you don't take anything away from this today, Credit Karma is not the right score to check.
So people should be checking their FICO score.
FICO, and there's several places to get that, and we can discuss that later. Or if people want to join the group, or they'll get information from the member packet that I will supply you for anyone who watched today. That has all the information on where to pull your reports and scores. So.
Okay, awesome. So if anyone someone wrote, I hate Credit Karma.
Me too. Yay, I love you. Who is that?
And someone else said they have the Experian app.
Okay.
So is that good, the Experian app?
If it says FICO, because also each credit bureau has their own scores too, which people don't know. So if it says, and I think Experian does give FICO, but if it says FICO, that's what you want to check. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of them now are starting to add in the FICO. I think people are starting to get hip on it, that those aren't the type of scores that you need. So I think they're
$3.99 is not always the best. I know we want free all the time, but invest in yourself and take charge and know where you stand, because you don't know which direction to start if you don't know where you're starting.
Right.
You can't walk up to me and say, can you tell me how to get to the McDonald's on such and such? And I'm like, well, where are you? I can't tell you where to go if I don't know where you are. And that's literally
What are most credit cards? Someone else wrote, most credit cards offer FICO scores as a courtesy. That's true.
It's true, but you also have to know which version, because people don't know there are 28 FICO scores.
20?
28. So knowing which ones they offer to matter, because some of them offer the auto FICO, some of them offer FICO 9, which is the newest model, and not many people use that yet. So just know what they give you. But yes, they're right. A lot of credit card companies and banks are offering their customers FICO scores.
That's good. Are there any other misconceptions? Because I know we probably there's probably I know there's room, all right, so answer this for me. I have a question. And if you guys have questions, put them in the comments.
Yes.
This always confuses me, right? When you're paying your credit card, there's the statement ending date, right? And then there's the due date. And then, so when should I be paying my bill? And then should I be paying it off before the statement date? Is that how it works?
I'm glad you asked that. I literally did a 20-minute video about this in my group, because I saw post after post and comment, and people thought they had it and then they were confused again. So every credit card has a billing cycle. It's a start and the ending date. Okay. Follow me, guys. Whoever's watching, if you need to get a piece of paper, seriously, because this is so critical. Whatever your balance is when the statement cycle closes, that is what gets reported to the credit bureaus. So say, for instance, you have a credit card with $1,000 limit, right? And you use $400. That's 40% of your limit. You never want more than 30 to report, okay? So now you've used 40%. If you don't pay it down before that statement closes, that's what's going to report to the credit bureaus, that you use 400 of 1,000. So, and then you get a due date, which is about 25 days after your cycle closed. Okay, so if my billing cycle was February 23rd to March 24th, my due date is not going to be till April 21st, the next month. But I have about 25 days. But whatever my balance was on March 24th, that's what gets reported. So the key is to never let more. I always say no more than 30, but 10 is always better. So say you used $400. 10% is great. So say you used 400 of the 1,000, but you don't want 400 to report because that's too much.
Right.
And you only want 10. So you will pay it down to $100 before the statement closes. So that once it closes, it's only going to say, oh, she only used 100.
Okay.
Now, because I said whatever the balance is when the statement closes is what gets reported. If you pay in full before the statement closes, how much is going to report to the credit bureau?
0.
Thank you. You never want 0 to report.
So you don't want to pay it all off.
Never. I hear people say, I use my card for gas, and 3 days later I pay it off. And I'm like, so you're letting nothing report. And the key to that, and again, we can get really detailed, but I won't. Utilization is the second highest component of your credit score. They want to see utilization. So people who have credit cards and don't use them, you're doing yourself a disservice. People who have credit cards and cut them up, or don't have credit cards and say, why is my score so low? I don't have debt. Because credit doesn't equal debt. You have to show credit worthiness. And the only way you can show that is by using credit and paying it back.
See, that to me like blew my mind, Shante, because I feel like that goes around a lot. Like people say, get a card, spend a little bit on it, and then pay it off. Like pay it all off. Make sure, they always say like don't carry over a balance.
They mean beyond the due date though.
Okay.
If you carry beyond the due date, like say you had the 100, but you was like, I'm only going to pay the minimum. Well, now you're carrying over about, and you get charged interest. So pay in full on the due date. Don't pay in full before it reports, because month after month is going to be zero utilization. So people who pull your credit, they go, well, we don't see that she can manage money, because they just keep seeing zero report every month.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Well, thank you for clearing that up, Shante. Thank you for clearing that up. And Shante, you have a book.
Yep.
Let's talk about your book. It's called, let me see, I have it. I think it's called Bills and Credit and Debt. Oh my, Your Journey to Emerald City. Tell us a little bit about your book. I know you can find it on Amazon. It's an ebook.
Yeah, it's an ebook. Clearly, it's a play on the Wizard of Oz. Lions and tigers and bears. So it's like, it's the things that challenge people and that make them scared. It was the lions and tigers and bears that were scaring them as they were journeying on to Emerald City. So it's your bills and your credit and your debt. Is like, I don't want to touch that. But you have to go down the yellow brick road to get to Emerald City. They had to. Like, that was the only way. So along the yellow brick road, each chapter talks about how you get there. Facing your fears. One of the titles is Facing Your Fears. One of them is about keeping going and not pressing when things seem a little rocky. Like in the movie when they were going into the poppy field and they were getting sleepy and it was kind of delaying them. It's like, you might hit that field, but it's like, keep going, because Emerald City is in your view and you can't get there until you keep pressing. So I talk about the basics of credit. We talked about utilization. This whole example I just gave, I broke it down in the book. What the creditors look for, why credit is so important, all of those things. And then I do share a lot about my story, where I started and then how I got to where I got. So it's a very easy read. It's $7.99 on Amazon. You need the Kindle app. You don't need a Kindle. And it's just, I wanted to just put myself out there, how I got started, and be transparent, because I wasn't born with the 800 credit score. I want people to know that. I know this information because I've been where a lot of you are or have been before.
That's so great. And I picked Shante. First of all, I wanted Shante to come to me. The first thing I noticed about her, she is so much fun, right? And she's so much fun. And for those of you who don't know, and if this is your first time watching, I do bring coaches, authors, trainers. This is what they do. So what she's talking about here right now, this is what she does. She credit counsels people. She gets people on savings plans. She help people, get people towards their financial dreams. So reach out to her, join her group.
Yes.
Financial Common Sense. If you going into her group alone is just so inspirational, because you see all these people from different walks of life. Kind of you can, and if you scroll down enough, you'll see the questions, and then you'll see like the success. Like, I had that removed off my credit score. I did what you said, and now it's gone. And like, so you get to see these success stories. And the reason for this particular segment is because I want to challenge all of you to just take one step towards whatever that goal is. And I'm curious to know what your goals are. So whether it's you want to buy a house, or you want to start saving for your kids' college fund, whatever it is. And then if we have group members that are kind of like, like, I'm kind of a pro in this too. Like, I built myself up. I want to know too, because you guys can help other people in the group. Yep. So I didn't expect there to be a whole bunch of people that's like, go, for this particular topic, because it is such a sensitive one. But I think that it's so important, because when you have financial burdens, or when you have, that on your mind, it affects so much more of like your own spirit and your wellness, and you're not really able to operate at your fullest potential when you have these money issues hovering over you.
Yep.
So it's important. I think it's important as far as, if we, last month we talked about loving ourselves. This plays into that, because if you love yourself, and She Moves Life is about all aspects of life. We kind of want to make sure that we're becoming our best on all different levels. And starting with your finances is one of them. You can't contribute to others if you're not in a situation to, build yourself up, and you can't, inspire other people to achieve their dreams if, you're still, if you are not taking initiative to start and building your own dreams.
Absolutely. Right? And I'm glad you said that, because that's one of the reasons why I started the group. It was towards the end of the year, going into the new year, and everyone was talking about, oh, I'm trying this new diet, I'm going to the gym. Everyone wants to get their bodies right for the coming year. And I'm like, everyone wants to handle their physical wellness, but no one's talking about financial wellness. And we said at the beginning of this, it's not a very sexy subject to talk about. No one's going to just go on their Facebook page and go, my credit sucks.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I want to create an environment where people can feel safe going and talking about it. So I just kind of started the group. I told my friends on my page, and I had like 60 members, then 100, then 200, then 500. Yeah. And it just escalated from there. But it was because of that. We focused so much on other things.
She has about, what are you at, 66,000
in a year and a half.
Yeah. I think in her group, she literally has over 66. It's over 66,000 members. I think it's still that 60. And when I tell you this group, they are in there rocking it, like meeting financial goals. Like, I'm seeing them post and they're doing stuff, and it was so motivating, and it was something that I wanted to filter into She Moves. Like, I wanted to see those sort of financial successes come in here to She Moves. So Shante joined our Facebook group, which I was super excited to see.
Yes, I'll be sharing lots of tips and stuff. I won't overwhelm you guys, but just like you said, misconceptions. I'm going to actually post. I made a post last week about like literally the top 15 misconceptions when it comes to credit. And I'll just post that, and people may see that and go, oh, well, I thought, and, we can kind of clear some things up. But I just want people, it's education and empowerment. Like, it sounds so cliche to be like empowerment, but it's so true. Like, don't feel like you have to pay a company to do what you can do for yourself. Educate yourself so you never have to pay somebody to fix your credit. Only you can fix your credit. You know what I mean? And so that's what FCC really stands for. Like, I feel like a proud mama when I read these like success stories. Like, I refinanced my car from 24% to 6%, or I just closed on my first home. I never thought I can do it alone. Like, that warms my soul, because it's like, I didn't do it. You joined the group. You took on the initiative to make yourself better and take this information and educate yourself. So I didn't help you get your home. You did it. And that's what I like.
I feel like that's such an important note, because those companies that charge you to fix your credit, they're doing the same exact thing that you can do yourself. Just so you know.
All they're doing is writing letters for you. So they're not educating you. So that question you had about utilization, Lexington Law wouldn't break that down for you. So they may get rid of all the bad stuff, and then you're still like, what now? You know what I mean? Right. So I just don't want people wasting their money with these these like hyped up companies like, oh, we fix credit. Oh no, you help get negative items off, but that doesn't fix credit. There are things only you can do to build your credit. And that's where understanding comes in. If you don't know how a score is even calculated, you don't know where to even start to fix your credit. And Lexington Law can't fix your credit. They can write a letter, and the same letter you can write and send for $40.
You can write.
How much stamps cost these days? I don't know. But that's the whole point, is like, don't pay them to repair your credit, because only you can really do that.
That's so true. And start. And I feel like I probably swayed the conversation more towards credit, right? Because I want to work. Like, I feel like that was like a big hurdle for me. And like, I've literally seen this like fluctuate, this up, and I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? Or like, what changed overnight, right? And so I know so many of you have different goals and dreams, and I want to know what some of those are. So if you're catching us on the replay, right, comment in the goal. I want to know if you guys are trying to buy a house. I know there's people in here who just purchased a house, right? Like, let's start talking about these financial goals. Some people maybe want to start saving for that business, right? Or that tour that they want to go on, or that book. Like, they want to finance their business dreams and their goals and things like that. Finances that latch on. Finances have to do with everything, Shante. Like, there's not.
It really is. I mean, like, people say like, well, I need help with my budget too, not just credit. I'm like, it literally all ties in together. How you manage your debt. Some people haven't paid their student loans in like a year. And they're like, well, what do I do? Like, that's their biggest thing. They're like, I don't even know how to handle that or where to start. Contact the servicer. Let them know you're having hardships. And let me just kind of say, and I'll probably maybe just end with this. If you're having hardships with your credit, please do not run from them. We're talking about fear, right? The credit card companies won't know you're having a hardship unless you call them to say, I'm having a hardship. You just not paying it isn't going to help you. They have programs out there. They just don't tell you. But if you call and say, hey, Capital One, I lost my job. I'm having a problem. committing to these payments, they'll say, oh, well, we do have a hardship program. Let's see if you qualify. Oh, great. We can lower your interest, lower your monthly payment. They don't know that unless you say something. And that's another thing about kicking that fear to the curb and saying, I have to tackle this. Like sweeping it under the rug, like you said, it just makes things worse later.
To the phone, right? Like if they're calling, answer the phone.
Right. People are like blocking numbers. They're like changing their phone number. I'm like, I'm gonna help you, So just don't be afraid. Like I get it. Those letters that come in, don't kick them to the side. Don't shred them. Open them up. Because one letter might say, "Hey, let's settle for 50%." You never know. You think you still owe 2,000, and they're saying we'll take 800. You don't know
that. That is so true. So open your mail, ladies. Open your mail. Answer the phone. Right? If you're scared to start that budget. And I believe like you just start by how much you're bringing in and look at your statement, see what you're spending it on. I know one of the girls in the group put me on some Mint. I guess it's like it tells you like where your money's going. A lot of my money was going to food, which was very disappointing. But for Shante, do you have anything else to say? I think this was great and informational.
Not really. I mean, like I said, join the group if you're not a member. Financial Common Sense. If you're scared to post, just kind of take a look at what other people are posting. People are putting it all out there. Not saying that you have to, but just letting you know we get down and dirty in there because again, these people are like at their wits' end and they're like, I need help, and I'm gonna tell my story to 66,000 people. Somebody's gonna help me. I don't care who read this and who knows. And the thing that makes me proud is that people who first joined, they didn't know anything, and now I see them giving the answers to new members, and I'm like,
yeah.
It just warms my heart. So yes, please.
What you're doing is definitely needed, and I'm just so glad to have a person that's like so to the core and to the root of the issue. You're kind of like a tough, like no nonsense.
Sorry.
I love that because people need that, and I just want to thank you so much, Shante, for coming on.
My pleasure. This was great.
We look forward to your posts.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And I think that you're definitely gonna. I think that this is gonna be awesome, and I truly hope that you all take the initiative. Get started on those financial dreams of yours. Don't be scared. And thank you. Thank you, Shante. Financial Common Sense. I'll put the link in the comments.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.